Hello guys, and welcome to today's mystery box. Now I use that term very lightly because you've probably guessed by the thumbnail that this is an AB Figures mystery box. Now if you keep it with AB Figures, you've probably got a good idea of what's going to be in this package. It's the new US Airborne, of course. Now the new US Airborne consists of a few different things, but if you're unfamiliar with the US Airborne or you weren't completely aware that US Airborne have come out, I think at the start of this year they did release some US Airborne in the form, I believe, in 3 packs, and they are absolutely lovely. I painted a few as well, so I've got a tutorial on them. If you're so inclined, you can see that. I'll leave a link to that in the video description, and a little pop-up will pop up now for you to see these. But yeah, there were lovely figures indeed, and it was great to see Tony tackle some US Airborne. But we've now seen the release of some more US Airborne. Now these are US Airborne in combat, so we can see from the get-go we've got an officer with his radio, and he's got his rifle as well as lots and lots of equipment. And then my personal favourite from this particular set is the guy with the M3 grease gun firing it. I think that just looks awesome. Look at the detail on that grease gun too. I mean, come on, you've got to agree, AB figures are probably the best figures on the market throughout any scale. They are just lovely figures, and they just look amazing. Then we've got a guy with an M1 carbine folding stock, which is another huge thumbs up for me. I love a folding stock on my US Paras. You just don't see it too often in 20mm form. A lot of people go with a fixed stock. So yeah, it's good to see. And then we've got a guy with a Thompson, again firing it sort of mid-run or jog or walk, whatever you take your pick. But yeah, it looks really good. I mean, look, even the facial expressions are just lovely. I mean, this is just an absolute work of art. And then we've got another guy with a grease gun. A grease gun is just so cool when the detail is right. And I'm a big fan of these. I think they just look so great. So yeah, huge thumbs up for these. I mean, the detail in them themselves, I love the mixture of helmets with netting and scrim. That's a really nice touch. You can see there's a little bit of cleanup involved, but you're never going to get too much damage from these lovely miniatures that are produced by Eureka Miniatures. They are really absolutely lovely figures indeed. And then we've got a guy firing a grenade from his rifle. You can see nice fat grenade on the end of that rifle. So yeah, very cool. Looks really good. Not too much cleanup involved. I mean, there's a big bits of metal hanging off, but easy to snip. The metal's got quite a bit of firmness to it, so it's easily bendable and you're not going to break it. And you can see, if I get my side cutters on the right angle, that they just snip off really straightforwardly. There's very little pressure involved with that snip. So yeah, lovely work indeed. And then I'm just checking out how easily is this barrel bent, because it's a very small little barrel here on this carbine, and it does bend in really nicely. You're just getting a zoomed up shot of that one. Another folding carbine, which is lovely to see. Then they've also released the Jeep crew. So we get Jeep crew, we've got 4 drivers here. I'm not going to show you them individually because they're all, they're all individually posed, but they're all doing the same sort of things. Yeah, there you go, you've got legs in different positions, hands and arms in different positions, and everything just looks natural. They're all just driving away, obviously looking around, trying to make sure there's no Germans lingering around in the corner somewhere. Then we've got a few different guys. This guy, you can see he's got quite a lot of excess metal on the side of his head there, but again, nothing is standing out for a fire won't clean up. He's got his Thompson on his lap and looking pretty awesome. We've got a guy sort of hugging his M1 Garand, probably hoping that they're not going to come into contact whilst they're in their Jeep with very little protection. And then we've got another guy sort of getting his rifle ready. So just look at the variety in pose. It's just absolutely lovely. And it's going to make a fantastic collection for anyone that wants some US Airborne. I've made mine for D-Day, but you can easily do them for Market Guard and, you know, in the M43 uniform as opposed to the M42. I don't think there's much difference in terms of just mainly the colour. And then we've got the US Airborne with their trolleys. So this particular guy I think looks great. Look at the position of the Thompson. That is like really, really accurate in terms of where it would be tucked away. Again, full of lots of detail, just looking really, really cool. We've got another guy helping to push the trolley, or tug the trolley, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, really, really nicely done. There's 2 figures per trolley as well. So again, just showing you the sort of weight these trolleys were and how heavy they must have been to push around with all that extra equipment on there once these US Airborne have landed. And they all just look so natural. Doesn't look robotic, doesn't look fake. We got the folding carbine again in its folded form, which is really cool. And then we can take a quick look at the trolley. So we've got the M1 Garand in there, as well as lots of equipment. Again, the metal's easily bendable, so you can bend that into shape and put it back into the shape that it needs to be in. And then we got another one here. This one looks like it's got sort of ammo crates in there, perhaps some machine gun ammo or mortar rounds, perhaps. I'm not exactly too sure. But even the wheels for those trolleys, they're nicely detailed and look really great. And then finally, probably my favorite from this set of miniatures that was sent is the DZ miniatures. And these guys, you can see we've got a radio operator here, so he's got all of his equipment out. You could probably use him as a pathfinder as well, whatever you want to do with him, but I think he'd make a great radio operator, or somebody calling in a bit of artillery perhaps. Then we've got a guy getting his 30 cal machine gun out of its bag and getting ready for its use. It just looks really, really cool. It's going to make a great sort of diorama piece, or if you're into photographing your miniatures on the wargaming table, you can sort of add some nice dynamics to your shots, make them a little bit more themed, which really does add to the intensity of the game and the pictures that come out. And then we've got his partner with that folding tripod for the machine gun, sort of bent, grabbing it out of the bag and waiting for whatever else he's going to have to lug around the battlefield with. Oh, and hopefully he's not just got a bit of concussion from that drop. And then my personal favourite from this, I just broke away a bit of metal because I think it needs to be appreciated. We've got some sort of Rambo with his 2 bazookas. That just looks so cool. He's got the bazooka rounds sort of resting on his chest, and he's carrying the 2 bazookas with their slings tucked underneath them. But yeah, looking really, really badass. And then we've got a guy with a bar, BAR, just walking, so you can use this guy in a combat role as well. So it doesn't have to be just sort of supply miniature that you're going to be using for, say, for battle group. And then there's some little bits of scatter from that drop, so little bits of equipment that you can use as, again, objective markers perhaps, or just a little bit of nice added bits of scenery and terrain for your wargaming tables. Get in there nice and close. You can see the detail on there is just absolutely lovely. So these are just absolutely great miniatures. I'm chuffed to bits. Thanks again to Nick for sending these out. I can't wait to get some paint on them. Tell me which miniature you would like me to see painted. Tell me which miniature you would like to see painted first, and I will get that on the channel in the new year. So if you want to find these miniatures, you can find them at the AB Figures website underneath USA, and obviously just look for the Airborne miniatures. I also would like to take a minute just to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays, depending on what you're celebrating. This is just a fantastic way of getting through Christmas. Look at these US Airborne. Why not get a set to put underneath your Christmas tree? Maybe a little bit late now, but yeah. A Merry Christmas, guys. I'm going to leave it here, and I will catch you at the next one.